Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another review. In today's Doctor Who review is set in the Torchwood universe. So, before we get into this is a very dark story I'm about to talk about. So, if you're not really sure about a lot of the adult side of the Doctor Who universe, I would suggest turning away now. You've been warned. Let's get into the story. Torchwood, Children of Earth. A gripping, heartfelt throb of a story set over 5 days. 5 days. The first day is a story that takes you back in time and explains to you that a young boy who was an orphan, who was not taken, finds himself lost within the crowd of a world that he doesn't know. But whatever was done to him as a child, these monsters never left. Instead, they used him as a pinchling so that they could come back one day and conquer and conquest and feed. A group, or we're not quite sure, a species known as the 456 has arrived on Earth for diplomatic meeting. During the diplomatic meeting, they begin to discuss the fact that they want over 4,000 or 5,000 children of the planet Earth. Now, the military aren't 100% sure what they want the children for, but they do look up in the archive and realize that the government has already given them children in the past. During the diplomatic meeting, the unit tries to find out what happened to the children in the past, and exactly what their purpose was for the 456. They are soon horrified to discover that the children are drugs, and that they have basically been sold off by the government so that the 456 can get their fix. It's uncertain what happened to a lot of the children, but one of the children is shown inside of the tank, just about alive and still hooked to the machine that is giving the 456 its fix. Gwen and Yanto begin to bicker as they try and decide how they're going to fix this situation, especially in their own home. Yanto fears for his niece and nephews. Meanwhile, Gwen fears for just everyone in general and their children. When they meet up with Jack, they are baffled to learn that Jack was involved in the first handover. This is revealed to them by one of the children who survived and escaped the 456. Well, at least he believed he did. He could still smell them on the air. But once he has done his job, the 456 decide to send out a signal to kill him off, just so that he can't reveal any more of their information. Jack tries to explain to Gwen and Yanto that he didn't quite know the full extent of the plan. All he knows is that back in the day he was sent to an orphanage to take a bunch of children who no one knew about and leave them under the beam of a UFO. The UFO would then take the children and no one would be none the wiser. But this time the 456 have become more complicated. They want more children and in lesser times. The government tries to use the army to make it sound like it's a vaccination, but instead end up causing a citywide and worldwide riot between the parents and the schools, along with the army themselves. The army manages to secure over half, but of course the Prime Minister of the time is in a sticky situation. He has been told that he has to give up his own children, and so unwilling to do this, he decides to go home and kill himself alongside his own family. This was brilliantly played by Peter Capaldi, as Peter Capaldi becomes essentially the fall guy for the whole operation. However, the irony being that certain members of that coalition government essentially didn't want to give up their own children, making them immune from the effect, although it was cut in half and some members of the cabinet did have to give in. I think that another standout actor in this whole drama has got to be Nicholas Briggs. The way that he questions the people in that cabinet room doesn't make him come across as an aggressor, but more as a voice of reason, asking people in the room whether or not they believe what they are doing is right. Jack eventually finds himself broken down when Yanto gets killed by a gas when the 456 unleash it into the room. This is after Jack and Yanto make a foolhardy mission to try and destroy the 456 in the building. The 456 feel threatened, and as soon as this happens, they decide to emit a gas, killing almost everyone in the building. Jack is the lone survivor of this gas attack and finds himself heartbroken to find the man he loved dying in his arms. Gwen and Jack then make it their mission to save all the remaining children before it's too late. They divide their forces, Gwen going back home to where Yanto's niece and nephew are to make sure that the army don't get to them. Meanwhile, Jack decides to find out more about the 456 and a way to destroy them. Eventually he comes up with the concept of using their frequency against them, and the only way to do this is to use a child. He manipulates his own daughter into using her son and putting him on a pedestal to fry. Jack tries to come up with another way, but of course the mad scientist tells him that there is no other way. Jack is broken by this. Not only is his family now destroyed, but also he feels like he'll never be able to look at another person the same. After Jack then saves the world, he decides to leave. He has nothing left for him. No Torchwood, no nothing. So what did I think of Torchwood Children of Earth? It's dark, it's dreary, it is a very strong push of a piece, and for that reason I give it a solid 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible night.